good evening. You're welcome to Sophia's show tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your calls, the texts, the comments. It's been great, especially the topic we've been discussing, domestic violence, a Christian's experience. Some people were so shocked that, wow, somebody actually went through this. Other pastors have started talking about it, that it's a crime, it's a sin. Even men were not exempted because they quite appreciated that, the topic. So thank you. Tonight we're going to go to the part 2 of our topic on domestic violence. Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior in any intimate relationship where a partner seeks to gain control or maintain power over someone. It could be both. It's a terrible thing. The statistics are there as well. 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence over their lifetime. It has a higher rate of repeat victimization than any crime. And every minute, the police in UK receive a domestic assistance call. And only 35% of these incidents are reported to police as well. So people are assaulted a lot. And that's where we can't keep silence. We cannot just keep mute. It's real. It's out there in the community. It's happening in the church as well. So we've got to rise up. That's why we're here tonight. And tonight I'm going to welcome my guest, Evangelist Jackie Seshele, all the way from Nottingham. You're welcome.
Thank you.
How was your journey?
A bit hectic. Got lost, but I'm here now.
Thank God. You know, it was a great time we had last week. So I won't repeat what we said last week. She went through quite a bit in her marriage and, you know, and things like that. But if you want to watch that episode, we'll let you have it on YouTube shortly. So your in-laws at that time, so how was your relationship with them during that experience? During the horrible times?
During the horrible time, in the beginning they were okay.
Yeah, okay.
But it went on until it was like not normal anymore, because they were supportive and then they just stopped, but not necessarily that they want to resolve the problems, but because they wanted something to gain. They usually ask for money to pay for their bills, whatever. So I ended up capitalizing on that, saying, okay, this is the door opening for me to sort of maintain peace. So I started to sort of give them my money. I would say my money because it was from my pocket. So I gave them my money to buy them. So in a way, in basically, I was just buying their love for peace sake. So I used to sort of skip my bills, not paying anything, my car, whatever, just to give them the money because they are over in South Africa, they are not in the UK.
Okay.
So which means I went to the extreme to sort of using my finances to buy them.
To keep the peace.
To keep the peace, for peace sake, but which didn't last, obviously. It was not...
Yeah, because I know a girl too, but she actually did it with her husband. She said she just thought she could buy him, you know. She was experiencing abuse as well, but, you know, doing all that. But she said in later years that it didn't work. Because I had to tell you, you can't buy a man's love with money. There's no how. It's either it's real or it's not. You understand? So, but another thing is that, did you, at this trying period in your life, did you get enough support from the church, from pastors, you know?
From 3 years, three times that I went to the church for 5 years, in 5 years, wow. I only had one attempt, which I will phrase it as a drop of attempt.
A drop.
Yeah, and then this pastor and the wife, they are from Kenya. They came trying to help us out. You know, but he was really nasty to them. He showed them who he is because they were in his territory. They were in his house. Yeah. So it just didn't help. That was the last time I actually put my hope in the church, that time anyway.
Wow.
So the church was nowhere to be found. There was no one who wants to talk about it. And worse, being a pastor's wife, I thought I have access and to sort of get them, because I was nearer them like anybody else.
Wow.
So of which I was wrong. There was no one who was willing to talk about it. They were just putting it
Under the
carpet because this was their friend. And the man is so gifted that to my mind it was like, okay, they rather use the gift but not deal with the issue.
Wow.
So to me, it took me back to the passion of the pulpit, like, God, what am I doing in this? What is my position here? I need help from your church. And then this is what I see, but the church was nothing. Actually, I ended up deleting the name church in my list of crying for help.
Wow. Wow, it was that terrible.
Yes,
so they pushed you to the dogs, actually.
Yes.
It's like they kicked you were kicked in the face.
Yes.
Because you didn't get the right support.
And
It must have been a lonely experience.
yeah, worse is like every time the same people that I think they might help, I mean big men of God,
Wow.
they will invite him to go and preach in their church.
Still.
He will use his gift and all that. And remember, last week he said, I was called a helper.
Yeah, you
So
said
I'll just
that.
go there and support him. After the preaching, he will still fight in front of them.
The
So that
people.
was normal for us.
Wow.
I ended up seeing it as a normal
Life.
one of those in the house. Now I experience it in front of them in the church, in the mission house, if I can put it like that.
And they
'cause it was
didn't
after.
address it.
No, they didn't.
Wow. That must have been very lonely, very devastated.
Yeah, it was a little hell on earth for me. if I
And
can put it like that,
disappointing as
and
well, yeah.
disappointing.
Because it's like being rejected
Rejected,
by
yes.
your very own.
They will always come and smile, oh, woman of God, oh, my sister, whatever. But that was not enough.
Of course it wasn't.
Yeah, I
It
wanted
wasn't.
somebody to say, guys, let's end this, let's resolve this, stop this and that. And then actually I even researched about excommunication, like do pastors who do this, what do we say as the body of Christ? Do we excommunicate them?
How do we treat
If I
them?
was pregnant from outside, what will they do with me, being the children of God? So really, it made me
Wow.
do a lot of research.
A lot of prayers
as well. Yes.
That's quite shocking, you know.
Yeah.
So how did this impact you, this whole experience? How did it impact your
By
life
then, yeah.
at that time?
To be honest, I was anti-men.
Wow.
Anything to do with men, any place where I go and there's a man, I really was like shutting the door. I didn't want to hear a voice of a man. I didn't want to have a friendship with them. Even at work, if I work with a male carer.
Okay, you're a nurse, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
nurse, and then if maybe it happens, because where I was working, the manager was so helpful. So I used to go and say to her, please, can you swap him? But they didn't know why.
Wow.
Can I work with this? I work well with this one and all that. So they have to sort of change their rota because of me.
Wow.
Simply because inside I was dying. I couldn't bear
couldn't relate.
anything to do with
A
men.
male.
Even in my car, I don't want anything.
Wow.
If I have to give, I used to have a friend, Philip, who used to have a problem with his car, and then I have to give him a lift to work, then I have to pick him up.
Yeah.
So I started to have, I won't say phobia or panics, but I just couldn't bear to be in the car with Philip.
Wow.
And you talk about my friend, somebody who was there for me when I first came to England, but I couldn't bear anything.
Wow, wow.
To do with me.
That's quite shocking, you know, because I've researched on this, and domestic violence can leave people resentful, ashamed, you know, fearful, so many things.
Yes.
You know, low self-esteem, no confidence and all that. So another thing is, were there women involved? Were there other women? I think during my interview with you, pre-interview.
Yes, there were. There was an English girl who was involved with him, but by then I didn't know. How I happened to know about her was that we he brought this girl to stay with us in the house, only to find that she's one of them.
Wow.
So which means it was me and this girl who was the missus in the same house.
In the same house.
But I didn't know.
Oh.
So it happened that this girl caught him with the other one outside. Then she blackmailed him that if you don't dump that one, I will tell the wife.
Wow. Tell you.
Yes. So I didn't know all this until when I caught her, the one in the house. But the story is like, it happened that when I was doing my management course, I went to the computer and it was not locked off, and it was his email account. Then I asked the girl, because the email address was the nickname of the girl that we are living in, and I said, oh, the conservation or the communication between this is not you, though the account is in your name. So who is this? Because it was too much sexual and whatever. So it can't be a female like the female. And then she said to me, "Oh, can't you see your husband is cheating on you?" And being me, I just took it simple, because remember, for peace sake, I don't ask questions. I'm not allowed to say anything. Then I said, okay, I'll ask him. And then she came back. She explained everything, where this woman lives and what's her name and all that. So she was kind of saying, when he comes, because he will deny, just give him this information. So when he came, I gave him what she gave me. So he didn't have any choice but to accept. But bear in mind, accepting that, it was actually my way out of the marriage, because I couldn't get out of the marriage unless it's due to unfaithfulness. So in a way, it was a relief for me, like at long last, in 10 years, at least I will manage to escape through this, because as a Christian, I can't just leave him. Then when he accepted, I forwarded the messages between him and this girl to my account, NHS account, at work, as a proof in future if he denies. Then the girl just went out, and then that's how I happened to know about the other one, because I ended up, to cut a long story short, caught him red-handed with the one inside the house.
Wow.
After 9 months living with her.
What a deception.
And then again, it was my second thing, like, you know what? You can disrespect me to the point of bringing the girl in the house, but not in front of my son. So that's when I started to report every incident to the police, to the social worker, until to the next level.
Okay. And I think you actually said there were issues of, I think miscarriage or, or abortion.
The one outside, she actually got miscarriage, because we ended up going to her, because he was denying the one outside. Going to her, and then we ended up knowing that she had a miscarriage, and the one inside, she did an abortion.
What a level of deception. You quite went through a lot. We'll be taking a short break now. Stay with us. Don't turn the dial. Thank you.
Bible College presents 2 revolutionary online video courses in prophetic ministries and Christian ministries. The founder of the college, Dr. Richard Oswald Comey, a seasoned international prophet and Bible teacher, has uploaded 450 minutes of video lectures leading to a certificate in prophetic ministries, and 450 minutes of video lectures leading to a certificate in Christian
the
ministry.
point is that some people go to Bible school and it's all about the theory and the philosophy of religion and all this, but there's no spirit to it. There's no life. If you take away the spirit from the word, it becomes lifeless.
Go to www.remarrbiblecollege.org, click register now on the homepage, enroll, and pay for the courses with a credit or debit card, and have instant access to your selected course. After completing your course, take the 50 multiple choice examination on the website. Get your grade instantly, and your USA accredited certificate will be mailed to you. Study to show yourself approved now.
Life as an adventure. This is actually quoted by Williams Feather.
Thanks for staying with us. So at a point, you said you had to leave. So where did you run to?
The social workers introduced me to Human's Refuge.
Okay.
So I ended up going to Human's Refuge.
Okay, how long were you there?
I was there for 6 months. I had to run from my Boston Lincoln with the car, the suitcase, the documents, the
Wow.
passport of the children and the children. That was at midnight when he was not there. So that's how I ran.
So you had to just run for your life.
Yes,
Your dear life.
I had a suitcase in my car for 2 months.
Wow, packed
Planning
there.
how I'm gonna run away
Wow.
for my life, because obviously there were a lot that proved that I'm gonna die anyway, anytime, because of the papers. You know,
Yeah.
if I don't give him settlement, then which means that's it. So I had to take the boys and run.
Wow. We're going to be opening the lines now because I know people have said they want to ask questions, they want to make comments. So this is your shot. The lines are opening now, so you can call us. So at a point you said you had to fight for the custody of your children. Why was that?
The reason was that when I was in the Human's Refuge, I ended up going for my life to remain in the
Okay,
UK.
yeah.
Which, when you go, obviously they ask, oh, where's the other one? Do you want to apply
Yeah.
for them? Will they come later? Which I said, no, I don't want to apply for him. Then he went up to apply at the later stage, I don't know when anyway, but they took his passport, and that's when he had an advice that if he takes the children, then he will remain, which is one of the tools that they use. Like, if I'm going to take my children from you, then you have no choice but to sort of give them what they want.
Wow.
But I couldn't give in with that. Philip again said, no, Jackie, I'm a man, but you have to fight for this. And I know you are a Christian. You'll say, oh, no, I can't do that. I live to go. But you have to fight for the boys. So I listened to Philip at that time, and at the same time, I thought...
Who is Philip?
Philip is a friend of mine who
Okay.
was the manager, my
Okay,
manager, yeah.
okay.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to fight for the boys. Nobody, and he will never take my children from me because of his lifestyle. He can have seen them, but not to take them away from me. He cannot go to an extent as if I've done something to them to deserve them to be taken from me.
So he wanted to use the kids as a bait.
Yes, he
Wow,
wanted
that's
to.
terrible. A lot of people use that. They use their kids as pawn sometimes, you know, to haggle. So it's like a bargain. Let me get the best out of, which is quite terrible
yeah.
because they're humans as well. So at the end of it, you said your child made a statement while he was being assessed during that period, custody trying period. What did he say that shocked you?
I happened to hear this in the court.
Yes.
Because obviously when they assess the kids, I'm not there. So the social worker stood up and read the statement from the eldest son who said, I don't want to see him, and neither I don't want him to see my younger brother who might experience what I experienced.
Yeah.
And then that was what shocked me. And then he said, oh, the social worker said, I asked him why. He said, can't you see 2 minutes he's downstairs, 2 minutes this lady's upstairs. And then he goes upstairs. So, which means the kid knew what was going on behind me. So that hurt me, like, how can you let the boy experience that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite terrible. So your son actually had to say he didn't want anything to do with his dad because of that experience.
Yeah, so at the end, the court order was that he's not allowed to see them because it was proven that it was domestic abuse.
Okay.
And then he's not allowed to see them at all, but to communicate indirect by letter and cards with the youngest, because the eldest insists he doesn't want to see his picture and whatever.
Wow.
Which he teared every picture in the house, which was his, which was
Wow.
left behind. So
Wow.
that was too much for the boy.
For a young child
Yeah.
to go through.
go through.
Wow. So how are you now? What would you say some of the regrets you had during that time? Okay, there's a caller. We have a caller on the screen. Hello, Ronke. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, good evening. I've been listening to the program, and I have a question for Jackie.
Can you please speak up?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I have a question for Jackie. She was talking about how the church let her down.
Yeah.
So my question really is, what did she expect from the church? Because I have a feeling that the church let her down because they don't know how to handle this. So maybe something she can say will help pastors out there to sort of understand what a woman going through domestic violence expects from the church.
Oh, it's not. Okay, what you're saying, we couldn't really hear you. What you're saying is she said how the church let her down. So what exactly was she expecting, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So what exactly were you expecting from the church, the support, I mean, the men of God? What exactly?
I expected the church to sort of stood up in a Christian manner. For an example, the Bible says we should condone violence amongst ourselves. So I expected them to, as a man of God, to say, you know what, guys, let's talk about this. And then also, can you stop doing that? Because they knew it was beyond just controlling, it was even physical. So I expected them to come and say, especially that we don't have our parents here, I expected them to call us being the parent and say, you know what, this is not gonna happen and this has to stop. So I expected the church to actually counsel in a way and take a stand, not to allow somebody who is doing such a thing to continue preaching. So that was my expectation.
Okay, so she's explained that. Ronke, are you still there? Okay, so that is it for support, for counseling, and you talked about excommunication at the point that you were not sure what's the position, how should we handle such. Sometimes people who are behaving in a terrible way and they still continue in the position of authority, ministering and all that. So one thing is counseling would have helped, support would have helped, a shoulder to lean on, and things like that. So in the light of that, I guess that's what she wanted to know. Because as a body of Christ, we can support in different ways, have seminars, have workshops, and things like that to support people, to create an awareness as well. People are going through that, yes. On the screen, we also have, if you would like to support us, the account name is Jewels. It's not there. Somebody sent a text now. The account name is Jewels, but the account numbers are there. But it's Jewels. Okay, thank you. So what would you like to say to someone going through that, or someone, the women out there? Another thing is Theresa May, the Home Secretary, she said something that, even the youths today, they think it's normal for a guy to slap them, to kick, that it's almost the norm, and it's quite worrying. So what would you like to say to someone? That's your camera.
Okay. I would like to say domestic abuse or violence, whatever type, is not allowed. And also we have to be careful as young men and women, who do we choose, because sometimes we choose people out of different reasons. But I would like to say, whoever is going through this, lean unto the Lord, and there's hope in the Lord. And also make sure that you use the support out there. There's a system, not only in the UK or Africa, but generally is the same, whereby you use the social worker, and the domestic violence teams, the human's refuge and all that. But mainly, nobody loves you when they beat you. Nobody loves you when they cheat on you. That is not love. That is something else beyond love and rotten or evil. If people love you or somebody loves you, especially young girls, know that they will treat you like somebody who deserves that, and you do the same anyways, vice versa. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to close with it that domestic violence is a crime. Also, she said it all. This is not the last time we're going to be treating this. And also, an important announcement. We'll be moving to Tuesday at 11 p.m. from next week. So stay tuned, stay with us. From next Tuesday is 11 p.m. on Tuesday next week. And also, if you're in this issue, please get help, like she said. Abused women are not weak. They are not weak people. They're people who have been through. Situations can contain one, but for this reason, we're here today. Thank you for coming. And I know a lot of lives have been blessed by this. Amen. So stay tuned with us. Next Tuesday at 11 p.m., we will be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been quite awesome. A Spanish quote, an oak is not felled by one blow. So I encourage you, Keep trying, keep persevering, you will surely get there. See you at the top.